As April 1975 began, the city of Saigon intoxicated itself with a false sense of security. The streets bustled with everyday life, vendors shouting their wares, children laughing on bicycles. Yet, beneath the surface, there was an unmistakable tension, like a tightly wound spring on the verge of snapping. The North Vietnamese Army, NVA, was advancing south at a rapid pace, and their victory seemed inevitable. Threads of fear wove through the people's conversations, invisible yet persistent. Within embassy walls, diplomats from various countries scrambled in desperate attempts to maintain a semblance of normalcy. Figures cloaked in tailored suits whispered among themselves, forming escalating evacuation plans. Many knew it was only a matter of time before Saigon fell, yet decisions still teetered on hope and denial, tethering refugees' fates to the balance. At the U.S. Embassy, staff members were entrenched day and night in a whirl of planning and turmoil. Meetings over evacuation lists were heated and emotional. The office environment had shifted from routine operations to one of frenetic uncertainty, and the sound of ringing telephones never ceased to punctuate the thick atmosphere. Radio broadcasts filled the airwaves with a peculiar mixture of resistance and reassurance. Propaganda messages assured the people of continued safety, while clandestine channels buzzed with frantic updates from the front. The juxtaposition of these messages left the people swinging on emotional pendulums. In the heart of the city, people moved with hurried purpose. Families packed essentials into worn-out suitcases, bread vendors doubled their pace, and taxis ferried anxious passengers. Yet, amidst the commotion, certain cafes still brimmed with regular patrons sipping iced coffee, waiting for the tides of fate. For South Vietnamese soldiers, the strain of uncertainty weighed heavily. Loyalty to their country battled with concerns for their families. Many stationed at the metropolis edge watched the encroaching NVA troops with hearts both proud and heavy, pondering their next moves. Saigon began to transform as the evacuation efforts intensified. Relocation programs for refugees sprouted overnight, spurred by the rising crescendo of military advances. The atmosphere, once vibrant with life, now seemed draped with an invisible shroud, slowly drawing closed. In political quarters, negotiations for a peaceful transfer of power hit stalemates. Talks that initially overflowed with optimism faded into bitter distrust. Leaders on both sides sat at tables that now only shared endless cups of cold tea and silences heavy with unspoken realities. The battlefields on Saigon's periphery whispered their stories to the wind. Both sides engaged in final confrontations, the ground telling tales of soldiers who fought, not just for land but for dreams and legacies. These scenes juxtaposed sharply with the urban city life still in motion. Amidst the war machines and turbulent politics, organizations tirelessly worked to aid those affected. Shelters were erected with haste, food distributed, and medicine rationed. Volunteers from every corner of the world lent hands to care for the human soul trapped in the chaos. Plans were in constant flux as clear skies became optimal exits for America and its allies to transport personnel and refugees. Helicopters, ships, and makeshift airstrips. Every resource mobilized to evacuate thousands in a race against time and enemy advances. Tan Son, not airport, transformed into a hub of desperation. Families clung to shades of hope as they awaited rescue flights. Sobs of farewell mingled with the roar of planes departing the runway. For many, these were final moments upon Vietnamese soil. Along the Pan Nhung Thao Freeway, South Vietnamese troops shared glances filled with unspoken camaraderie. Conversations drifted to familiar keepsakes, a daughter's drawing, a wife's rosary, touches of serenity amidst turmoil. President Thew's resignation marked a symbolic fracture. As he took to the airwaves to explain his decision, many in Saigon listened in silence, absorbing the magnitude of a leader stepping down amidst the nation's despair. His departure foreshadowed a foreboding shift yet to materialize. Across Saigon, familial bonds were tested by the necessity of separation. Some left for perceived safety abroad, leaving behind loved ones with promises of reunion. Letters scratched hastily on paper carried messages of hope and longing that technology could barely preserve.